So we're back, and once again, we do not have the clapper. Thanks, Sean. But we do have our lovely ukulele. It's back, and we're going to sing you a song. Another original from us, isn't it?
Yes.
Written by us three, actually. We're the new Atomic Kitten. Yeah. And we are first performing
Nuclear
in Larne.
Pussy.
Nuclear Pussy. So
I was going to go for Atomic Mutton.
Speak for yourself, love.
So here we go. Fuck your Honda Civic, I have a horse outside. Fuck your Subaru, I have a horse outside. Let's get into it!
Very good.
Oh my goodness, what's the crack? I'm Connor.
And I'm Becky.
And together we are Show Some Love, and this is our podcast. Today we're joined by absolute fucking legend, Trudy Scrumptious, also known as Gordon Crawford, the man, the myth, and the legend. What's the crack?
Bonjour, mon ami.
Oh.
Can you tell I'm learning Italian?
Italian?
No, it's French.
Oh, is it? Bonjour.
It's Miss Peggy. Bonjour, mon ami.
I thought you were going to do the whole episode in French.
Like Eddie Izzard. Eddie Izzard can do their whole comedy stand-up routine in French and German, and I think they're learning Arabic as well. Yeah.
Love them. Fab.
Same.
Yeah.
Fab.
Same.
Have you ever seen the skit about the bird on the plane? It's a bird that doesn't want to sit on the wing, so they get on the plane and do the whole seatbelt thing. It's hilarious. Really good at like making animals humans.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
finding the humour in that.
Anthropomorphizing.
Yeah. So funny. Yeah.
Whenever I was my teens, my friend Kelly got me into watching Eddie Izzard, and since then, I don't know whether that was like part of my like realizing because I wasn't really out or aware of my queerness until maybe my like late teens, early 20s. Yeah. But way back early, I remember just Eddie Izzard just being like, they are the most beautiful creature.
Yeah.
You know, they just like have this like going between, at the time they were like, they called themselves an action transvestite, because they were like, because they were like still in their like, they were considered themselves to be cis man, but they wore makeup and they wore like these fabulous suits and things like that. And of course now they are Susie.
Well, I think even then, like going back in that era, there was no real language for that, but there was an authenticity that they sat relaxed in. Didn't care. Do you know what I mean? So,
People like that, and I think about like people like Grayson Perry and people that are just unapologetically themselves, or portraying that kind of expected character of another gender. You know, now that's maybe formed your. Becky gets a full boner for a person with a penis in a dress and and a bit of lippy
Gender
on.
fuckery.
Gender fuckery.
That's my favourite.
Which is kind of your thing.
yeah.
Kind of a wee
Sometimes
bit.
I'm not even in drag.
just your hobby. No.
Yes, pastime. No, some people have knitting.
And you have tucking. But no, you don't stop working. So you work as a drag queen and performer, host.
All sorts of things. I've in my kind of drag. I'm doing drag 25 years this year.
Wow.
Shut up.
I know.
When did you
The
start?
Troubles ended in 1999, and I started drag. No correlation.
Part of the peace process.
Yeah. See, this is what you get with peace process.
In
Trudy
fairness,
Scrumptious,
we call you the UN of drag and the queer scene anyway.
Wow.
So that
Because
you're
you-
friends with everybody,
As in,
and you always have this sensitive thing to say.
It's
Nobody has a bad word to say about you.
They don't.
Well,
You really do, because it's along and with a lot of queer circles and a lot of LGBT spaces and events and all the rest of it comes, and it is a stereotype, but it's bred, I think, from people who are often hurt. They hurt other people.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of melters about. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of
angry people.
Angry, melty people that maybe just haven't, and it takes me a bit of time. I was one of those people, you know, and I turned to drugs, and that didn't really help me either. But oh no, you know,
I feel like we need the drag race. Snake.
No.
We'll get that shade button eventually.
No, I did 6 weeks of counselling in the Rainbow Project,
You
and
went
I'm
for a walk
perfect
last
now.
week, you're grand.
Yeah, the government would say it's grand. What do? You go out walking, you drink some water.
Yeah, walk children in nature.
Yeah, you bang those pills. But it's often a consequence of the hardship that queer people and marginalised people experience, which is people can be melters, and you're so far the opposite of that. Really, truly, there's not a person in this city, and I know there's often maybe not an opportunity for people to say this to you, and I know it's also very embarrassing. Yes. But you're really loved. You're really loved,
Well,
you know.
Big time.
Lovely.
Big time.
You're going to make me cry.
Well, we're hoping.
Squeeze a wee tear out of a guest.
If you cry, we get 100 likes on TikTok.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if we
I
can,
ugly cry, so it's probably not a good idea.
Can we
200 likes.
can we not for we will let you speak, of course. But can we not just for 1 second? Can we just get you really sobbing so we can clip it?
Okay.
You know,
I want to pull my pubes.
Pull that eyelash glue off again.
pull your pubes.
I have a weepy eye. I have a weepy eye in my head at the moment because of last night's eyelash glue. Yeah.
Oh, it's eyelash glue.
A single tear dropped from her cheek.
Is that
We'll get it AI generated.
is that what they say? Is that what you're saying? It's eyelash glue?
Yeah.
Wow,
Aye.
that's disgusting.
And when we're doing shows sometimes and you're doing like an emotional power ballad, well, I try my best to act in that kind of specific song or whatever.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do get emotional if the song's very like poignant to your experience at the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
But if not, there's always a wind machine and just keeping your eyes open.
Yes.
You heard it
Dust
here
over there.
first.
So if I look like a startled bunny with wind on me,
With the eyelashes flapping.
you know I'm trying to cry. Yeah.
It's that drag race challenge. You're just like
Yeah,
really furiously trying not to lose
It's
your
like one of
wig.
those dodgy dolls. Like,
But you do that when you perform. There's a real emotion. A lot of people are like rat-a-tat-ta. They do the moves, they get it out. And I'm not talking about local queens, just queens in general and performers in
name
general.
them.
But
You lose your UN status.
you can't be like you're meant to be sort of, I don't know, stopping war, not sort of starting it. You know. But I love that moment of seeing you on stage, really giving it, giving it.
Gravitas.
Yeah, and really giving it
Yeah.
that emotion, but then also walking down those wee stairs in the shoe factory, going and standing beside the DJ, smoking your, probably not allowed to smoke a vape inside, not smoking your vape,
No.
but having a drink and just like chatting away, looking at people, waving, you know, and you're like,
Holding court.
you almost, but you forget that is, it's the performance, it's kind of like, it's the thing, you know, it's the emotion that people kind of come, they're attached to.
Yeah, well, the whole idea of even standing and watching the other queens perform, it just comes out of like actual wanting to see what they do. Because sometimes we're backstage and we don't get to see each other.
Totally.
But there is, I can't remember what the name of it is, but there is an actual type of floor show production where the actual performers are just performed and come into the crowd, and that then becomes part of the show. There's a name for it that I'm not intellectual enough to remember, but there is a thing about that.
So 25 years in
25
drag.
years, yeah, crazy.
So you started just after the peace process, 1999?
Nine.
How old were you then?
17.
Huh?
Well, I actually thought, because I think I'm maybe a year older than you or 2 years older than
I'm
you.
82.
Yeah, I'm 80. So there you go.
Oh, ready to go.
Yeah.
82 years old. You wouldn't think it. Wow.
We arrived here on the Titanic.
1882. I was born, yeah.
Turn of the century.
Me and Cher, babes. Born in 1882. Listen, born in 1982, and I was 17 when I started drag.
Amazing.
So, yeah, 25 years.
Whenever I'm sort of talking to people from, I suppose, straight people or people that don't really kind of get drag or what it is, and even the difference of like what's being talked about in the news at the minute, you know, what's the difference between trans people and drag and like club kids and things like that. One of the ways that I tend to describe drag is like, if you think about a sport where somebody's maybe good at running, right? But then you think about a decathlon athlete, and they have to then also be good at running, at jumping over things, at shooting, at swimming, at all of the things.
don't know what
I'm
a
not a
decathlon
sports, but
is.
I'm clearly like,
You
I
have
got my
me
gay
convinced
card.
because clearly I don't know
No, that's
either.
a thing. Shooting is a thing. It is.
Shooting and running.
Swear to God.
That's like
Swear to God.
decathlon in Dunmurray.
Somebody straight correct me on this, but I'm sure that is the crack. But it is, because you've got to be able to do makeup, hair, dancing, singing, performing, hosting, being funny. And that's one of the hardest bits of it all as well. But it's like the charisma that comes with that and all of the different disciplines that you've got to learn. Holy shit, like.
For me, the kind of reason I've always loved drag, even as a kid. And even before I knew what it was, I loved it, right? And I definitely think most kids that if you're around kids, they're kind of beguiled initially when they look at you. It's jarring for anybody that has an ounce of insecurity, because when a child looks at you with the truth, you go, oh, what are you doing?
I shouldn't be out in the day.
Shade, right? But it is something transformative and magical that kids are natural at. The dress-up box, it's exactly the same notion.
Yeah.
It's the idea of putting on something other than and becoming something. Yeah. And even the trick in the brain that can learn. Yeah, when I was in drag and getting insecure at the very start, I just remember telling myself, I feel really out of my body in it. And I know a lot of drag queen performers can get to a stage like that. They can love the initial buzz, but then it becomes a wee bit jarring. And I just thought, I don't feel like I have the confidence to do this. And I thought, right, just fake it till you make it, right?
That's
everything. And then over the time, I realised, hold on, it's me that's actually doing this, but it's actually still me in there that's making this happen on stage. So I obviously do have the confidence. It's still me in here. And so it's taught me so many things over the years. And I think that's why everybody should try it. Like the guys and, there was a guy that lived beside me who was like a pagan kind of minister, teacher, all this sort of thing. And he'd just moved in for a while, and he came in and we were having coffee one day, and he was saying, you know that the channeling thing, so when you channel Cher or you channel like Bette Midler or whatever, that's something that they channel. It's an energy from the universe. That's not who they are. So he believes in the paganism that you can go up and tap into that source and become that. It's a tappable force. And I always felt that really interesting, because he was saying, what was the other thing? It's another word. It's an Irish word and an Irish spell that you kind of put on a glamour. A glamour is a spell. And that's what you put on a glaze of something else. And it's all those kind of wee things that people have been doing for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years.
Totally.
But we've just found a new language for it, or a new way of performing in it,
100%.
Isn't that funny?
But I think that kind of applies in many worlds and many contexts as well. Because like, even if I think about like, one of the things that we'll do quite a lot in here is there'll be like maybe a group of corporate volunteers in, or there'll be like a charity will have brought in some of their people that come in and use their services, and Connor and I will have to come in and do like okay, here's who we are and here's what we do, and sort of take 5-10 minutes to just sort of chat to them. And whether it's a group of 5 people or it's a group of like 40 people, like I realise now, it used to be that you shit yourself about that, or even like any type of like public anything really, whether you're giving a presentation or whether you're whatever it is. But there is something about like the more you practice it, and the more you realise that if you know your beats and you know what your bit is that you're going to say, you can flick a switch and just, no matter how bad you feel. So even if you're hungover or you're tired or you've had
she came
nightmare
for me there,
or something.
Didn't
No, I didn't even know. Are you hungover?
No, okay.
All right. But like if we were. But you can, and the more you do it, the more you realise that you just like, it's like that Katy Perry moment, that you always talk about whenever she's backstage, she's just had a really awful, you explain it.
So she got news from, I'm not really into, I'm the gay that I'll live for the songs and I'll be out with the boys, girls, theys, thems, everyone else. We're having a ball. But when it comes to pop culture, I don't really interact with it very much. But I must have been on a plane or something somewhere that there was like just a movie. And
I love that you're explaining yourself. I watched Katy Perry's documentary. I was on a plane.
I'm not really into it.
Nothing is shameful. Just doing a moment.
But you were forced to watch
it. It was all there was. So anyway, watched Katy Perry's documentary, and it was really beautiful because it was at the time when it was really interesting, because it was the time whenever she broke up with Russell Brand.
Yes,
don't know what happened there and all the crack of it, but it was really terrible. I think she found out the day that she was going. She was part of it. She was on her world tour, the sort of big one with the sharks and all that kind of stuff, and. It goes from a scene where she's getting her makeup done, where she chose to lie down to get it done. Her team are around her to say, look, you really don't have to do this. The crowd will understand, the public will understand. What has happened to you is a big moment. You do not have to go on and perform and not give them everything. And she was like, look, I want to give everything. I'm going to get there. I'll get there by the time I get to stage. So they lay her down, they did her makeup. Really struggled with that. She eventually got up. They then put these clothing, they put her costume on, her first costume on. even as she was walking towards her stage, her manager and maybe another few people were just like, Katie, you do not have to do this, and we recommend actually that you don't. And she says, no, actually, if you just leave me alone, I'll walk to the stage. I'm all good. I don't need the assistance. She's with the crew. But she walked, and then she did that sort of like the little sort of riser bit that sort of, I don't know what it's called, sort of pushes you up. That sort of pop star moment that we all die. I think, do you die for that? Is that a straight thing? Yes.
Ever since the first time I saw Westlife all come up at the same time. Like out of those.
Gay adjacent, I told you.
Irish gay adjacent.
Yeah. Every time I just sort of step up from a stool, I'm like, am I Brian Flatley? Is that what he's called? No. Anyways, that's my connection to pop culture. But anyway, so she was walking and she went and stood below this thing. Her manager then last second ran up and she actually looked a wee bit pissed off just to say, I'm good. I'm going to do this. She was really, really, really crying. She wiped away her tears. The guy that was doing the lift gave her the signal, and she had held her microphone like this, and she she channeled whatever that was, and she just went boom. And as she arrives onto the stage, she's like just straight into it, and it was just it showed me, and I suppose it showed a lot of other people that were watching that. Anyone that struggles, but especially a lot of her fans being queer and sort of maybe different in that way, that actually you can fake it, or you can. It's maybe not fake it till you make it.
Marilyn Monroe. So, a lot of stars have done this over the years, but Marilyn was kind of the first one that had written about it or was written of her. So she was walking around New York just with her friend, and nobody was paying any heed. And towards the end of them doing whatever they were doing that day, she says, "Do you want me to put her on?" And the friend went, "What?" And she says, the friend who was with her said something changed in her, like just something subtle, but then hounded. Hounded, had to get out of the place because she just switched it on. Whatever it was inside her, she went like that, and that was it.
But I then think also there's an energy thing that comes with that too, that like it's this sort of magnetism, it's this maybe people would call it like a star power or whatever, like that charisma thing, but I think people can also instinctively feel it, and then that means that potentially you can project it or you can not project it, at the same time.
100%, and that's again, it's something you tap into. It's not something you have to walk about with it all the time. You know, Madonna's done it. Adele done it in Belfast. She went up to the zoo with her buggy. Nobody noticed her.
Yeah.
She says, it was the first night she was in Belfast. Went to the zoo today. Oh, them fucking hills with a buggy. You broke me nose. She was in a wedding. And she loves Titanic, and she was in the wedding, and there was a wedding going on in that room in the Titanic with the staircase. And she wanted a picture, and took a picture. One person noticed.
You are joking.
How raging would you be if you knew that Adele came to your wedding and you didn't get a picture?
She's the very definition of a good cunt.
Yeah.
Someone who can just keep it real, but still lead with love, lead with kindness.
Yeah. Just this week, did you see somebody? Like
the pride
said,
thing.
Pride sucks or something. She's like, "Oi,
are you fucking stupid? You came to one of my shows." Got real Tottenham right and quick, didn't she?
There was someone. I think actually you shared it. I watched it first on your page, but there was someone in the background that shouted like, "Jump the bitch!" or something.
Bring them down or something like that. She was like,
And I thought, wow, the guys have just like went instantly violent.
Yeah.
Like, we want another Stonewall. Fuck this cunt.
She had it handled, but I love her. I just for that real person in it. Do you know what I mean? And she can make you laugh, she can make you cry. And
people can feel. So yes, you can channel that energy, and you need to switch on for her if she's doing an interview or she's got a crew or whatever with her. But there's a balance to be found. It's not about being fake.
Yeah.
You're not actually maybe faking it till you make it, but you are. You're just sort of giving it that next level.
It's like finding a different part of yourself that energy can just access. Do you know?
It really all comes down to that inner saboteur thing again.
Yeah.
You're faking it to yourself, not to anybody else.
Yes.
You're faking it. You're convincing. If you have that one voice in you that's telling you no, then clearly there's an ability for another voice to tell you yes, and it's you choosing the yes rather than the no.
I think seeing it in normal circumstances, having that mask on is actually poor for your mental health.
Yeah.
But see, for performers, I think it's the only way you can cope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the amount of insecurity you have normally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
bringing that into a performance.
Yeah.
Well, let's
kill
be
you.
really real about it. It's not the most normal of circumstances being up there and holding a room. That's not normal. That's not who we're designed to be or conversing.
Yeah.
But there is part of us that loves it, that rallies us together, that like crowd likes to take the lead. It's the same as in a rally or anything. Somebody getting up there and taking the lead in it is needed so that people can unify around one thing.
Yes.
Show being on stage is very much the same concept for the humanity, the people.
You give it a go.
Rallying the people together and getting this, even whether it's for an enjoyment or a good cause. But being in that main spot stage
100%
is very exposing.
It's like someone standing up there and saying, "Okay, everybody relax, I've got this."
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
Yes.
you are
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you
yeah.
are another beast on stage.
Yeah.
It is, and I love you either way, but so Sean's in a band called Search Party,
Right.
And you've got this same for like the Bruno Diamonds of the world or whoever else that you sort of in the outside world and then you see them on stage. Same for you. There's this other. It's
magic.
It is magic.
I switch it up quite a bit because I am quite shy, just like generally going about.
Yeah.
But I'm completely different. No.
Yeah.
Do you find a change a shift in yourself? Can you feel the shift?
Yeah, and I feel like I breathe myself into it. If you know what I mean. Like I always sit like before I'm about to go up, I like just take a couple of deep breaths and see by the end of like the fifth or sixth one, like
You're
I'm
there.
like, right, that's me. I'm into it now.
Yeah.
We
Same with
would
sports people too. They psych themselves up for things, and it's like a challenge of switching your brain into a new mentality for it. You know.
Totally.
Yeah, it's sort of it's getting into the game.
Yeah.
And actually your audience deserves that. It's we should maybe do that a wee bit more for maybe this podcast. Did we ever do a prayer? Remember we did it. Did we do a prayer with Bruna maybe once?
No, we sang like a prayer.
Oh, we
Same. Saint Madonna. Yeah.
Well, we had our so we've launched a church that's without religion. Well, we're saying without God, but we feel like God is here, and depends how you view that. It could be the universe, it could be God, it could be whatever else you want to say. But so it's a church without the sort of pesky organized religion, and the last one was like a prayer themed.
That was just Dick Van Dyke, was it?
It was with Gemma Hutton. Oh my God,
yeah.
she's a star.
So good, so good.
Really, truly, just had it.
And then she did a fantastic. The Telegraph did an amazing article.
Seen it. It was lovely.
Cover
it was
girl.
fab. Yeah, really, really
I
good.
seen it, and the positive message through that, and like just Gemma being Gemma was like real and always open for conversation and all those lovely things that I do think help. Embracing. Gemma's will tell yourself she's there in front of a lot of straight people in the supper club and stuff, as well as being so much on the gay scene, but in those spaces she still manages to connect and bring them into her world in a way too, which is...
And of course the whenever something goes on to the Telegraph, then it also then the trolls come out and all of the
I don't do
arseholes.
the comments.
But of course I go into the comments like this here.
You love them.
Somebody hold my beer.
Yeah, but at the same time, because other people do that for us.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Half the time we don't need to comment whenever we get all of the shit because somebody's talking about us as being like green-haired weirdos or child abusers or child haters. It's always like somehow both of those
From a
things at
blank
the same
profile.
time. Yeah, exactly.
Druggies.
Yeah. But then other people do it for us. So I always think, well, then I pay it forward. So if I see anybody else getting that same thing, I will go in there and I will get my fucking dictionary out and I will get at them.
You're there with your thesaurus.
But those are the cheap seats. Do you know what I mean? Those are the people that are winging shit from the cheap seats, and honestly, their opinion doesn't matter.
Don't read the
It doesn't.
comments.
Do you know?
Don't
But
read the
it still takes courage to put your head above the parapet to do something creative,
100%.
whether it's being in a band, whether it's like doing drag or performance, or whether it's like doing something
Well,
like
even
this.
just
Do you
being
know?
vocal on social media about any sort of topic at the moment, there's always going to be somebody, people going on and just telling their story and telling their lives, get put it down by the wrong type of people that come across it.
Yeah.
And you just can't. You have to not care. It's words on a screen.
Yeah.
Let it go. Sometimes I go and find myself like, oh, well, I'm fucking really tell you this. And then I go, who's going to see this other than the algorithm?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I would rather pay somebody a compliment or tell somebody they're doing good or encourage in that space. If anything, if it's anything that I find can, it's having more of a negative impact or going to jar within reason. I mean, I wouldn't do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if things need said, don't get me fucking wrong, they're getting said.
You'll say
But,
I also don't mind stoking the algorithm a bit, because if the Telegraph and the title see that putting more queer representation and faces out there gives them more likes and more reactions and more advertising money and all the rest of it, more spaces will open up.
When they had pedestrianised Union Street, it was around Christmas time, and I was there to host some of the City Hall people, some local politicians, all of that, and there was a photo op opportunity, and I was in like 2 pictures and all of this thing, and all the comments was about, fucking weirdo, and like, what's that doing in the picture? Very derogatory stuff.
Yeah. Dehumanising language. Yeah.
And to me, like, oh, bitch, let me in a room with you and let me show
they wouldn't
you.
have the courage.
They wouldn't. They would not have the balls.
But it's that thing too. It's hard to hate people up close, and you're the unknown, and you're the weirdo, and you're the whatever. I don't know what else to say about people that wear, because I get it too. Just even wearing a bloody dress. There's that thing where they blend together a sexual identity with a performance element. Or
just what you choose to put on your back because you're going to an event. You want to wear a nice dress.
Yeah, because you're people are like, well, you're nothing but an attention seeker, and I'm like, well, obviously
it's our job.
Well, I bet you were the smartest in your class.
But it's rather than like let me in a room with them, I would go for that, but really to have a conversation. I think if people were to sit across a table with you and just have a coffee, it would be really hard to take a shot, and they might take a couple, but if you keep it calm, and you don't rise to the madness, which is what you're saying.
My mum always says you get more with sugar than you do with salt.
True.
Yeah.
And I just find there's always a better way to win people over, and I don't even try to win people over. No. Because that's too exhausting. You can't keep up with that. But whoever you're in front of, show them your best angle and work with that, And if they don't accept it, they don't accept it. You can't make everybody think the same as you, or it would be a really boring world.
True.
Yeah.
But if you can learn to have a better conversation and even open their mind a little bit about something, and then hopefully another fabulous person comes along and opens it a bit more, and then we'll get there. But and I do, again, what you said, hurt people. I feel like a lot of that stuff online, especially when they're coming for what they say is an easy target just because the person looks flamboyant, it's really just, I always go, there's some story behind that I don't know. That's their shit.
They're projecting.
Mine. They're projecting.
Yeah. And it's also like what happens like the most, and we will never not say this, where people in the cheap seats in the comments are targeting like refugees and asylum seekers, queer people, and particularly our trans siblings at the minute. But the reason that they're doing that, as you say, it's what they perceive to be an easy target, and it's because people are not prepared to face actually the much darker problem, which is the fact that no, it's our own structures and systems, which at the minute we're so, obviously because of our political situation here, we're being heavily pummeled by the Conservative government and the system that is
the call came from inside the house.
Do you know, it's capitalism is the problem, but people don't want to acknowledge that, because that has been successfully, there's been enough propaganda on that has pushed that away to, well, that's just what the hippies say, it's the communists, and it's like, no, socialism works for everybody. Do you know what I mean? But people they're not prepared to even think about it a bit, so it's easier to be a bigot.
I think it's such everything's on, and it's always with everything, and with enough time and distance you can look back at something and go, okay, there was a bigger picture there that people weren't being told at the time, and we can look and add those elements in. But when you're living in it, it's so confusing. I get for people why they can't, it's easier just to be lazy and go, I can't, what would I know? But you would know more than you think if you leaned into it a wee bit.
It's more accessible now than ever, because you can, if you I'm not an incredibly strong reader.
No, me neither, actually.
But I love to, I am literally addicted to sometimes completely useless facts made up in little YouTube videos where you can find a little bit about something. But even the history of our country, there's loads more now. As history starts to settle, or the history of queer people and their experience in this part of the world, or whatever it is, as it starts to settle, settle and there's enough years go by, the confusion, the sort of the fog clears, like you were saying, and you can really get the facts and really make up your mind. I just don't think you have an excuse now, really, to not interact with it. It's this like, well, I'm not political, and even that as a decision is actually inherently political.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of, it's where
No answer is still an answer.
Yeah, it's where they sort of want you, even to engage in a tiny sense, just to get your head around it a wee bit, and to actually have belief in yourself that you might have been told your whole fucking life that you're stupid. You might have went to what you think was a shit school. You might be from what you think is a shit area, but you've got it. You know, you've actually got all the other skills that you've had to develop over the years of being social and feeling those cues and taking on information. It's people who say they're not creative. There's a load of people out there that solve, because creativity is problem solving, and there's a load of people even in their work that they do that every single day. But we hear that constantly. The people that are like, "Oh, I couldn't come to this space. You know, I'm not very creative." You know, like,
it's like everybody's creative.
Yes,
you know.
That's
capitalism as well.
Yeah.
At schools,
we should have a jingle. Do you know the way? Do you know the way
it's
Brona?
capitalism.
Yeah. Do you know the way Brona? What's the thing that Brona and David Dockery Jab do? It's
Swear down.
No, it's problematic. No.
Oh, problem.
Yes. We need one that's like, it's capitalism. Socialism is the answer. No.
But what you're saying there, Connor, about there's a democratization now of information because of YouTube. You know, like growing up in school here, you were told history and the version of history as told by the British government, and then also like schools and things like that just took that information in the eyes of the victor, as it were.
Yeah.
Now, there's been enough time and distance has gone by where people can, from outside here, can look back and actually see with fairness and with hindsight and with all of those things, people that are like, actually, there's a lot of English content makers that are doing it that are saying, okay, well, that was a problem and that was a problem. And so now it's much more easy to be able to get a more neutral or unbiased version, or much less biased version.
You're having a full Jesus moment.
Yeah.
This is your Virgin Mary. There she is.
You mean Virgin Mary, are you?
It's more holy fuck.
Would you ever have thought the Virgin Mary the whole way from Rathcoole?
That's Spice Girls.
That's fucking unexpected.
This will be like one of those wee like religious like sites that people make wee pilgrimages to.
Yes, this is the
Our Lady of Lourdes.
Yes, and Trudy actually cries if you look at her for long enough. Are we right
Get
eye?
that wind machine out.
Our wee left eye just cries. See a wee
Our
tear coming
Trudy of
down.
Lourdes.
I always joke I'm Catholic by injection.
That is mad. We for years been talking about doing a shrine, you know, having a shrine. So we love incense in here, and we love to just like have that kind of smell and vibe. It's just for me, it smells like safety.
What's your fave?
Just Nag Champa, straight up Nag Champa. Can't be doing the Dragon's Blood. I love they've got one called Positive Vibes, which is amazing.
I love Ylang.
Oh, I love it. You're very page.
And white sage as well.
Oh, yeah.
White sage,
I think,
yes.
Oh, yes, somebody gave us a white sage. It was gorgeous.
Do you know that wee stoner shop we were in for incense?
Sex, drugs and sausage rolls.
Yes. But the wee guy in there, he actually did a really good job. He upsold me loads of incense and I was just sort of in a rush to bought it all. But it's lovely that those packets are like pear and
we went there and they're very good, but we went there because Mystique Enchantments are good friends.
Oh, of
Janet
course.
And,
they were closed.
Craig were all
they were
closed 'cause
closed.
it was a Sunday.
But what we're saying is, for years we've been talking about having a shrine. You're still holy, and it's
wonderful.
It really is extra. But we're talking about for years having a shrine. For a while, it was going to be Donna Summer. It was then going to be Diana Ross. For a short while, we were going to do Pamela Valentine, member, and then remember that.
You needed to be TikTok for that, remember?
And then who was the most recent shrine sort
Probably
of thought? Frank Mitchell.
Yeah.
Okay.
But actually, why don't we?
I think
Why
we should
don't
have
we
a
get
Trudy shrine.
I think you should have Dolly Parton. I think she's very much on your ethos.
Yes.
And
But I love the idea that we could do like a Trudy shrine and then like every so often like
why
you
don't you pick a main one and then you can have a saint? You can put saints around them.
Each wee room.
Yeah.
And that's the pilgrimage. It's walking around. You pay a tenner for it, like
pilgrimage. So
you pay.
Did you do blessings for people?
Oh, absolutely.
So the end of the
I'll
pilgrimage.
just be there with the incense. It's meant to work, apparently. Hello.
So the end of the pilgrimage is like our accessible toilet. You go in, and you, Trudy's there. Maybe you're standing on the loo or wherever it is. We'll work out the sort of production of it all. But maybe there's a dry ice machine. Anyways, we'll work out the production. But you're there. You give a blessing.
Just arrive.
And then you tithe. You know, that's the most interesting thing about sort of religious-y feeling things. You know, they're always willing to give you a direct debit.
People's
people's
grannies would have wee photos of Padre Pio, and it would have that wee red light coming out of it.
Yeah.
We need one of those.
So funny. Years ago, my friend was very, very, very devout Catholic, very about the religion, the faith, and all this here. And he brought me back since St. Francis of Assisi rosary bites. Now I'm from Rathcoole. Okay. So, but they're actually made. Well, this is what he told me. He was also could spin a yarn, but they were apparently cut from the olive trees in the garden, and they did smell like olives, like.
Wow,
but I didn't know what to do with them, like. But I wore them. I just didn't know what to do.
Oh, was that when? Do you remember all the gays for a while?
Yeah.
So
they
were
tattooed.
Yeah.
Rosary beads.
No, so it went from rosary beads, and I remember Topshop used to do them at plastic rosaries. It's really very sacrilegious that. Yeah. But then remember Chanel did the what was it, a tattoo or was it a bracelet or something? There was a campaign, because I remember I was one of those guys. It was like, I'm getting that as a tattoo, and then everyone. In fact, Nikki that's coming in today, she has one.
Oh yeah.
There's a whole host of people that was really a moment, and they've got the. I actually still really quite like them, but the sort of rosary beads around your hand.
Yeah, because you count the beads in each section, takes you into a different prayer cycle.
Oh.
My friend taught me all this over the years. Like, so you go through different sections. It's meant to be very meditative.
Oh yeah, I can imagine
it's designed in the sense to go through your sections and get through. And they have these different kind of prayers, and that's how there's use in the beads. You know, you'll have a bead here that's symbolic of a certain thing, and then you have the repetitions of it and all of that.
Oh, lovely.
And
I did not know that at all.
Well, we actually here have our Catholic corner, which is fun. Sean, Sean's our resident Catholic expert.
I'm the token Catholic in the room. So we're getting the grant for me.
We need him for the funding. We're trying to get someone that's cross-border.
He puts the fun in funding.
No, you have been, as well as being our resident Catholic corner, you've been giving us loads. You've been fact-checking us.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
You've been giving us our. Sean's been reading the comments that actually don't exist. So just in here, because I think our thing is that we're called Show Some Love Live, but we're actually not live.
Okay.
But we will have
edited.
some live ones in the future.
Yeah.
But we had to go with live because there's somebody else already called Show Some Love.
Yeah, somebody bastard.
Why don't you just put an A in front of it? Show
A,
some love.
show-
Alive?
Yes,
Just about.
like that Daft Punk show. But no, so talking about Rathcoole.
Yes.
So you're the whole way from there. 1982, did you say?
Yes.
Or 1882?
1882.
Before it was you founded Rathcoole.
Yeah, I found it.
There was
I
a
am
castle
the patron
there.
saint of Rathcoole, yeah.
That's why you were kicked out.
yeah. I always say it was the lesbians threw me out. The LVF, the Lesbian Volunteer Force.
So are all your family are still in Rathcoole, are they? Is your mum and all
yeah,
there?
the majority of them, yeah. So mum and dad still in this. Mum and dad lived in a wee flat up at the top of Rathcoole, and then when I was 2, moved into the house, and they're still in that house.
Lovely. That's so nice.
Yeah.
So many memories in that kind of space, you know.
Yeah. I mean, when I go back to the house, it's kind of like a safe space for me, you know, if I want out like that. Just want to be home and make sure everything's okay and feel like I'm all right. I'll go back, you know, call in. But then your mum and your dad are that really, aren't they? Like,
Yeah.
So if you pop down to what's the chippy called in Rathcoole?
A hungry hound.
Oh, the Hungry Hound. Stop it. Is it the Diamond?
Yeah, the diamond.
Yes. So if you pop down the Diamond, I am from round about those parts. I grew up my teens in Carrick.
Oh, right, okay.
For my sins.
Yeah.
As a big gay boy called Connor, which was spicy.
Yeah.
Pretty
like
spicy.
a boy named Sue.
Yeah, it was very spicy. But so if you pop down to the chippy, are you sort of are you like the?
I'm getting the pink pasta.
Oh, are you?
I love the pink pasta.
I love that you thought the end of that question was what you would get from the chippy.
Oh, it wasn't.
But are you? So we'll do a two-parter.
I've just made myself hungry and got it wrong. I'm like, I want a pink pasta now.
Sponsored by the Hungry Hound in Rathcoole,
Listen up to our sponsor.
where the pasties are pink.
That's a perfect sponsor.
Literally a pink pasta.
That'd be a good drag name.
Pink pasta. She may have a chip on her shoulder.
Tell me this: is there meat in the pink pasta?
I don't think so.
No, I
think
don't
it's
think
all
so.
potatoes
Some
and
of them do have
spices.
it.
Yeah, I think that's more like English pasties. Pasties over here is all potato and mash, basically, and spices.
That's what I thought.
But it's the spice in the pink pasty that makes it succulent, gorgeous.
And what makes it does the spice make it pink?
Apparently, that's what I was told. But then God knows food colouring depends on
They're sometimes very pink. I do love like not only having a deep fat fried pasty, but I'd love to put it in a bap.
Yeah.
So my friend, I knew you were going to say that. It's a really Irish thing, carbs on carbs. But she is vegan and like sometimes just forgets to eat because she's busy. But her buzzword is champ sandwich, as in you need to feed me immediately. Now, she doesn't eat champ in a sandwich. It's just the buzzword, but that's how ravenous they are. Do you know what I mean? Champ sandwich.
In Dunmurray,
Carbs on carbs.
there was like a bit of a, I think the seagulls are on
yeah, we
that
got a
bus.
seagull
yeah,
up there.
I was wondering what they're tapping their wee claws are tapping away on the glass
Terrify
roof.
me.
They're
Terrify
wild.
me.
They're wild up there, and there's babies up there too.
Oh, God.
So they're particularly vicious. But in Dunmurray, I remember Ross, our good friend, and my ex in Dunmurray. There was a thing where there used to be a chippy that had a pasty bap, right? Only they put it on their board wrong. So they put bap pasty. And in Dunmurray, there used to be like full wars because people would be saying, it's called a bap pasty. And everyone would be like, no, it's a pasty bap. It's not a sandwich chicken. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, Dunmurray, you tried.
The local dialect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bap pasty?
Yeah.
No. Bap pasty. It's a good nickname
It really
for somebody.
stuck.
Yeah, bap
it
pasty.
really stuck.
Well, now that we've talked about the Hungry Hound, which is our pride sponsor, and
I want chips now too.
the few words that we are contractually obliged to say each episode. When you go to that chippy, are you? How do they treat you? Are you a celeb in Rathkill? Do people know who you
Or
are?
is it that people are like, they just come here, we just leave them alone. We just let them to be able to just be at home.
I don't know. They probably just relate me to my dad's side of the family. It goes, that's one of the Craffords. You can tell the way he looks.
Okay.
You know, the thing. I don't know whether I don't know. I'm sure some people know of me in Rathkill, but I don't know that it's necessarily... Well, there's big scrumptious.
Whenever,
surely.
Like whenever, what's her name? Sarah, that did Sex and the City.
Jessica Parker.
Sarah Jessica Parker. Like whenever she goes to Donegal and all the residents are very proud because they don't badger her or ask for pictures, so she can just be herself.
Because the question that I'm asking is
Funny you said Sarah Jessica Parker. One of my Tina Legs years ago nicknamed me Trudy Sarah Jessica Parker and Marie Scrumptious. Apparently my middle names. Trudy Sarah Jessica Parker and Marie Scrumptious.
We were actually out last night at a Palestine fundraiser in the Devonish where we were doing some coverage. It was a comedy gig, but Tina was hosting, and she's
so
just
good.
got it. She's from that, and I feel like you're maybe from this bracket as well, in my head at least. But that beautifully experienced or maybe innate ability just to have an answer for fucking everything.
Take a heckler the fuck down.
It's like if your brain was a computer, it's like you've put that data in and you know what that reply is.
Yeah.
And that, I suppose that just comes from experience, you know.
There is a bit of that. It's also like I always try to explain people and I don't really have other an answer or an explanation other than my lived experience. But over a long period of time, you get to read a room and it just is there. It's why I can't go to certain places because it just doesn't switch off. Once you know, you can just know. I can be in a room and I go, that person's going to get fucked out first, I can tell.
Yeah.
And it's not even a conscious thought. It's just there.
And feeling the energy.
It's in the energy of reading a room. And people are people, there's tropes and personalities, even how people present and how they look and do certain things. And I go, well, that's that type of person.
Yeah.
And then it always almost becomes that kind of reality, if you know what I mean.
You know the category.
If I go to engage with them, they're you could tell a woman if she's going to speak like that there, she maybe smokes 100 fags or works in a taxi depot. Where you going, love? That type of person I can look at and go, they'll probably have a husky voice, I can tell.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's weird. It's weird. It's just a weird thing.
Just seeing all the people over all the years.
And see, even if you have a group of people and I can tell who the one wants to try and control or that's maybe a wee bit problematic in the group because they'll be like that. and they're trying to dictate their energy onto the rest of the people not enjoying themselves. It's a really weird thing.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll go to them and engage with them to say, all right, are you going to lighten up? And if you don't, then I will just work everybody else on the table and actually ignore them and go, right, you didn't want the fuss. So now I'll make everybody else enjoy themselves around you and you can live in your misery. And by the end they go, I'm going to have to get involved, you know?
Yeah.
It's I
suppose it's sort of, in a way, sort of inviting them into to that, you know, and you can't just be, you're like, I am standing as a fully grown 6 foot maybe man. Mm-hmm. You 6 foot?
6'2", I think.
Is that what you say in Grindr? I actually thought.
Just a small woman in Grindr.
For years, I thought I was lying, saying I was 6'1". I was just adding a wee inch.
I think. Well, don't they all?
Yeah. But you definitely are.
I got measured, and it was like, oh my God, I was lying about that in the Grindr, and it just
turned out it was true.
I
know. I think I am 6'2". Yeah. I think I am. I actually would have preferred to be smaller because I was always tall. Yeah. I kind of got picked on because of my height a bit. So I would have actually rather been smaller. But it's a gag now. See,
but now I'd rather be this height.
In the supermarkets, I love when the wee women go to me, son, would you grab me out up there? Here's me, yes, love, no bother. I love it. It makes my day because they're just like, you know, look at the wee things.
There was one time we were, years and years ago, we were trying to drive more awareness of how we didn't just collect toiletries, we also collected underwear, because underwear was one of the key things that people needed, particularly within the homelessness sector, within refugee organisations and things, but within homelessness, often they're kind of disposable, you know, because people don't have washing facilities and things like that. So we were really, and also people weren't donating them because they're dear and they're small and light. So it could be a tenner for a wee packet that's that size. Then if you could spend like a tenner and it seems like nothing in a bag, but we're very attuned to it, but 5 bottles of shampoo feels like more of a donation. So we were really trying to like get the word out on it, and we did it was we decided to wear pants on our heads for a month. So we got these pants and we cut eye holes out of them, and we show some love on them and all the rest of it. And we did it. We wore them for a month. It was quite the commitment, because that means you got to wear them whenever you're going to Tesco's to do your shopping on the way home as well. Like, because that's kind of the worst bit. It's not so bad whenever you're in work and it's like, wow, because people get it in context.
Very tight.
The minute you step out of context, it's full weird. And actually, Macro and all made us take them off because there were security risks. Do you remember?
Well, sort of pre-COVID, we walked in to go and get whatever it was in Macro. At the time, it would have been like coffee for a coffee scrub. Yeah. And the security man made us take them off. Yeah. So it was the only time we broke it in public. Yeah. But the way we thought of it, the way we experienced people, and it was actually a really good thing for our mental health and our confidence at the same time, because we observed then that there was kind of 2 types of people. There was some people who would just completely ignore you, didn't give a shit, just busy going on their lives. Just completely blanked it, just not even notice it. There was other people then, maybe 3 types. Some people would look at you like you're a weirdo and avoid you like hell. Other people, who I think I would be in the group of, would come up and be like, what is this all about? Tell me more. And that was the people that we were after, because then they're inviting the conversation, and then we could say, great, here's a flyer, here's our thing, you know, we're collecting underwear, you know, blah, blah, blah. And we were in Tesco's one day and wearing the things, and Connor always had like a pocket full of flyers for that reason. And we were just getting something in one of the aisles, and a wee lady came up to Connor and was like, excuse me, love. And Connor's sort of like, yes, no problem. And like went to get the flyer out of the thing, and they went, could you just lift that off the top of it? Didn't even mention it. But it goes to show how people just like, I can feel sort of sometimes, it got better over the years, but a sort of self-conscious in spaces, you know, just in any space, but especially in like regular spaces with just like a mix of people, like a shop, like at Tesco's, and you really think that every person has their eyes on you, that they really care. And
particularly when you're traumatized.
Well, that's the thing, because you're hyper aware of it, and I was really in that space then. But it really taught me that actually most people don't see you. Most people are just getting on with their own business, and then I use that now as an example for maybe some of the younger kind of weirdos and queerdos that come through here, that you can say, do you know what? You think that everyone gives a fuck, and yes, your family might have given you the impression that they really care about that thing, or whoever else around you, that terrible friend that you shouldn't have anymore, whatever it is. But people actually, people are, they don't, they don't generally mostly care about
Too
other
busy
people.
living their lives, doing their own thing.
And life for everyone is really, no matter how much money you have or what privilege you sort of stand with, it's very difficult for everyone. So know that they're busy. You know, they're not going to go and get in their car outside Tesco's and think, fuck, you know, should they really have worn those leggings or whatever?
Yeah.
You know.
I've always kind of been quirky with what the clothes I like to wear. I just like express myself through my clothes. Yeah. But I've definitely struggled over the years with that kind of, you know, feeling like, or being made to feel, oh, you're standing out too much, or why are you wearing that?
Yeah.
It's stinking or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing it for you.
Yeah.
And I've fought against it, but it still comes back. I think once you have that, you kind of have, it's a constant progress.
Yeah.
You're going to have to just keep working and watching. Where is my brain at? Am I self-monitoring myself for to please nobody that I actually know?
Yes.
And so I know I'm doing well is whenever I'm out with my boyfriend Stephen, and he's going, because people are looking, you know,
he sees it.
He sees it. I don't see it.
Yes.
He goes, look at him looking, and I'm like, oh right.
Yeah.
So then I'm aware. Oh well, that's grand because I didn't see it. Because I'm in a nice place about it. Watch, I don't care.
It's what Pandy Bliss says at that that sort of famous talk at the Abbey Theatre about stopping at the traffic lights as a queer person, and it really hit me when I first seen that. That you'd stop at the traffic lights and you check yourself. It just takes for one group of boys to drive past in a car that shout faggot or whatever else it is, or don't just sort of give you that judgy sort of like I could get you on the next street kind of a look, and you check yourself and you think, am I too gay? Is this too much? Should I present differently? You question that, and often people who just live in the world straight, white, mostly middle class people, don't have to have those thoughts. You know, that it's sort of this extra process that we have to go through as queer people, as marginalized, but as marginalized people. I think that's so interesting.
I'm gonna remember that we have a lovely segment that we want to do with Trudy now as well, and that is our show and tell some love.
Yes.
And I believe you've brought something lovely to show us and tell us about.
I've brought two things actually.
Oh, great!
I love it
Because I was loving the idea. I've watched a lot of American TV programs in the show and tell, and I always kind of was like, we've never done that in school. I want to do that, so I want to take this opportunity.
Great!
Oh, this is our last episode with 1620, because Sean moved the camera, which is just crazy, completely crazy.
Connor had his angle fixed.
If only we had a gay to produce this for us, but no.
We've got gay adjacent.
Yeah. Got fingered once is now LGBT nightmare.
There's the drag queen Mara Dubois, which was on the Britain's Got Talent. She said about that Spanish town, LGBT.
Is that what it's called?
It's called a Spanish coastal town called LGBT. It's not because she made it up. I'm play on words, but
guys, how did we? So we started because we started talking sort of. We had a bit of a break and we've had a bit of a shift here. Because it was actually part of Trudy's rider that you have to have a break, you have to have a massage.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
14 swans arrived in a bathing pool.
Just had a full Chinese.
But a good fun, you know. Yeah, all that and a full Chinese.
And a big foot, the pink
the Holy
pasty.
Spirit coming in from the
So Trudy's holiness is actually distracting because
Well, I'm a drag queen. I needed to find my light.
you find it. You find it. We were in utter darkness.
Yeah. Well, no change there.
I was channeling sunlight. That's
I was going to say Queens of the Darkness, but we can't because that's our lovely friends, Cara and Shane.
We might actually.
Oh yeah.
We might actually have to go. Might actually have to record not now, but record the podcast in another room because the glass ceiling this morning it was so lovely and cloudy and it was just perfect for light. But you have brought the holiness.
Yeah.
And what we were talking about is in the break as well. We had one of our volunteers, Nikki, call in, and she's just back from Torremolinos. She was at Pride. Yeah. I love this place. That she's just like, well, got you load of stuff. Was it Torremolinos Pride? What about it? You know?
And
so straight away, I'm like, that's it. I'm taking it. So
costume change, hat
change,
reveal.
a hat reveal. If you didn't think we were gay before, then. There you go.
You can't smell, but the room is filled with a mist of Jean-Paul Gaultier and poppers.
And poppers! It smells like my first experience walking up those stairs in the Kremlin and just being like, wow, I've made it.
Yeah,
I am going to get the ride.
At the zenith of the gay experience.
I want to use the fan because you've brought the light and you've stolen our light, but it's getting a bit warm. It's sort of, we probably need to.
We're in Torremolinos.
Do you know what we need? We need a sound stage. We need to remake this space, but in a sound stage where we control the light.
Yeah.
I think the shrine needs to be in the background. I think we get the shrine sorted, and that's your backdrop. Yeah,
Imagine when the light comes on.
And what time every time you bring a guest, they have to bring an item for the shrine.
Oh, I love it.
Funny, this idea taps in. That's so bizarre because that idea taps in with one of my show and tells.
Oh,
Stop
gorgeous.
it.
Nice segue as well, darling. Gorgeous. This is working with a professional.
It's show and tell some love next, where we ask our guests to bring us something that is close to their hearts that they can tell us a wee story about.
Yeah.
But you've brought not one but two things.
Always extra.
Something
Always
small,
extra.
something big.
What's in your bag?
It's the actress said to the bishop. What one do you want to see first? The small one or the big one?
We haven't seen them yet. I think, what would you go for first?
Come on. I'm going to go for the big one.
I know I might go big.
Okay.
Yeah, we're size queens.
Well, this was the item about everybody bringing. So I used to have these two neighbours, right? And there were two older gay men. And they had this wee pub out their back that they kind of built.
Love.
And their thing was,
lovely.
she's never bring drink, but always bring an item to decorate it. Now, if you had seen this place, you would have loved it.
That's
it was
great,
like
isn't it?
Antiques roadshow on drugs. It was amazing.
Wow.
So many. They brought all these like porcelain dolls, like really old queer shit. Do you know, like real funny things, or like an old telephone or old signage. Amazing. But they had a friend. So I was coming into the flat one day and they were like, come on down. So we have a thing for you. Our friend died, but he loved this certain person, was a massive fan, and ended up becoming best friends with him. But we were clearing out the place and we thought of you when we were seeing this.
Sweetie. Is Trudy's mic all right?
Wow.
So this
Oh
is
my
signed
God.
to, it says here, I think, so this was the friend's name. They loved Danny La Rue.
Yeah.
But I loved Danny La Rue as a kid on TV, like on the old Royal Variety and stuff.
You're blinding me with your light
Now
now.
Danny has found the light. But I just love it. And I thought it was so thoughtful of them. And I love history, I love drag and all of that in the one picture. And just what Danny kind of represented, all like in the 60s, he was like television royalty, you know.
Yeah.
And was best mates with Judy Garland and all of these kind of people all used to come to his club, party in the dressing room. There's just such a story that's still relevant now, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was from Ireland and went and made it in London and all those kind of things. It's just
from Cork, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Actually, Blind Boy recently did, I think it was a live podcast, and one of the audience members asked a question like, how have things got bad now whenever icons like Danny La Rue
That's
really
always,
laid the way,
always,
you know?
I always think of that. It just genuinely is a wee bit frustrating because they even look at Lily Savage, who was another...
And loved.
Devastated.
A national treasure. Yeah.
Devastated. And like that should definitely be an option for the shrine.
True.
What he does and what he represents as a person. Obsessed.
Yeah.
Obsessed.
Him and his wee doggy program.
I know.
Oh, it's so sweet.
Yeah.
He prefers dogs more than humans, like, you know. And his whole story and the activism and things that he done and really for the people, like, it was very much about that. And just as, again, that same Adele quality, very real and down to earth and says it how it is, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Like, there's really a way... Some people just have that expert skill of like, and you have this as well in terms of how you work a room and how it's not even just you working a room or you being on stage, but it's how you are in the smoking bit out the back or out the back, you know, beyond those Kremlin back doors, talking to someone who's maybe had a few too many drinks or they're on a wee handy or something. Yeah. You have this way of just sort of finding the thing and connecting with people, and some people have that. So I think you can learn it. You know, people can sort of develop that, but sometimes it's just sort of innate. It's in people.
It's knowing that you have not everybody has to have it or take it, because there is something about the phrase taking responsibility is an active thing, but it's like there's an innate understanding that you know that you have like a position of responsibility within this scene, and that there's younger queer people look up to you, and that there's because of those environments, interactions with straight people, and there's like, we say this about ourselves, and that, you know, not every queer person is like an encyclopedia of gayness, basically. No. And so it's not up to everybody to be able to say, oh, well, you can ask me anything. It's people's right not to do that. But there's certain ones of us who are like, no, you can ask us anything, because we've said, that's fine. We're opening ourselves up to that, so that not everybody has to do that, or has to feel like a walking teaching moment. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I think you really kind of bring that in a really gentle but powerful way, where it's like, this is, you bring a collective type energy to it as well, and that
my
connection.
Thing is I tried, again, the likes of Adele and Pilgrim who had massive platforms. I still always think they had that quality of staying really in themselves and like opening their heart space, and it's a vulnerable thing to do.
Yes.
And I don't really think I have it fully mastered, but it's definitely something I work towards, is keeping your space open and letting, because we're all humans in the end.
Yeah.
And we all have been through or going through something, and as long as you can keep yourself open to really hear and see. Some people are maybe not going to, and if they're in a messy place, I can't do anything for them.
Yeah.
But if they're in a space where they need to talk and they can see that I'm open enough, then they'll find me. And Pauletta always says, you know, like, Trudy, you get them. I will be sitting and somebody will go, so what do you hear? Well, I don't know them. And they'll just go blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But I do think that's because of it's keeping your heart space open.
Yeah.
That's a privilege.
You'll naturally, people will find you and gravitate. And I don't mind at all.
Yeah. It's a generous energy, you know.
Mind the time
it.
But we see you in those spaces, and you're just sort of, there are people that have taught themselves to sort of look like they're active listening. You really listen to people.
Yeah.
Oh,
you can you can see it though, you know, and you could be like, I know you're like 15 seconds before hitting that fucking stage, but someone has to tell you about their bastard of an auntie or whatever, you know, and you're like, that's terrible. Just give me 1 second. Here we go.
Well, you'll get two different responses in that sense, because if it's Gordon or whatever, I have the time. Obviously, if I'm Trudy, I'll be my best. But if the conversation needs to end, I'll be like, love, come back to me in a bit. I'll see you in a hour. You know,
that's boundaries as well.
Yeah.
You know, and it's important.
But I do think that, you know, what was I going to say there? Oh, the listening thing. So I always tried to do active listening, what I thought was active listening. But I ended up going to a counsellor years ago, and at the end of the thing, the counsellor was like, have you ever thought about doing counselling? Because they were saying they were almost going to overshare with me.
Yeah.
So it was like, I don't know, it's not something I was aware of up until that point.
Yeah.
And then I'd done a key skills listening thing to start off, possibly going down the route of counselling. And it seemed all very obvious. But to have someone in the classroom kind of sit and go, well, this is what it is to really listen.
Yes.
It made me go, oh, right, okay, well, I can apply that. And it is interesting when you apply what seems like a technical thing to what's a real scenario is, that it works.
Yeah.
And that didn't sit necessarily right with me initially, because I was like, no, to listen, you have to really be present, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's interesting, you know, you saying about that. But the other one that I found in that about the listening thing and really seeing people was Oprah used to talk about when a child comes into the room, you see them, and because this parent was being frustrated about, you know, and realising that they were trying to manage their life and manage their kids and all this sort of thing. And they says what they found is when the child comes in, no matter how busy you are, if you get it at the start and go, okay, what is it? And wait till they have done with their story and really look at them and say, that is not just for children, that's for everybody.
Yeah.
People want to be seen and heard.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think if you can give that for all it takes, it also centres you in a way.
100%.
Do you know?
Like, one of the things that has kind of killed me a wee bit about even like our project as it is now is kind of because it's growing quite a lot. And where before we would have had so much more one-on-one time with all of our volunteers and things like that, and the people that were coming in, even going going to an event. You could like actually sit and chat to somebody and kind of connect and all the rest of it. And one of the things that I'm very conscious of, and we're working to make sure that it doesn't happen, is that, and it's not to say that like people have got friendships with each other and our staff are amazing and they're really working with building relationships and building other little groups sort of within our group. It's just making sure that Connor and I don't end up being like kind of distanced from that. I don't ever want to feel like we're too busy. But at the same time, we also have like shitloads of stuff that we have to do and we have to make sure that we're doing all of it type thing. But it's like, how do you kind of manage the balance and the boundaries of that? And it's like actively carving out and making time. So we have a monthly event now where we're like, we're going to be here. We're all yours. Do you know? And we're going to do karaoke. We're going to talk shit. And even at that, if there's 20 people there, it's hard to get around every bit we do. Do you know? But it's like you have to then consciously do it rather than just expect that it'll just sort of happen naturally.
I know.
You know?
It is part of the thing of becoming busier and having spreading yourself out more and then still staying present. But all the things you're saying, you're obviously having boundaries when you have to make more space and you can't have you can't be a sound wall for everybody. That's not what you're here to do.
You've only got a certain amount of bandwidth.
Shit bigger than that. And then you're also saying you're actively putting in that. They're all the good things to do. I've had the experience over the years, especially in my job, where I was Trudy, so I was instantly accessible, no matter whether I was in a conversation with a friend telling me something important. And I was finished work, I wasn't in drag, people coming in and just interrupting a conversation.
Totally.
That's a private moment for me and my friend.
Totally.
And I have to at the start, I couldn't figure out a way to navigate that until I really started figuring it out for myself, you know.
How do you, because that was one of the questions I had for you, is that how do you manage the transition between Trudy and then Gordon? So if you're within the same space, you know, if someone, I know, just you even saying that, I know that I've been that person, so I'm so sorry. I've been that person that's taken way too many drugs and I'm like, hey Trudy, what's the crack? Are you having a good night? But I'll be quick at it, but it's like, how do you manage that if someone sort of just arrives into it? You know, are you just honest? Do you say, actually, I'm just having a wee conversation here, sure, if I catch you in a bit, I'll catch you in a bit.
That was the real difficult thing for me because I'm a people pleaser, so that was the difficult one to get over. It's like, but some of the things came from counselling, some of the things came, which is a lot of things that we talked about earlier on, is being able to switch the energy off a bit so I can like sort of shield myself with a mental wall that is... I'm giving off private. Right? Like I'm
totally.
I'm not putting on the show for you. So if I feel like I need to be protected and I need boundaries from people, then I will sort of switch that mode on in my brain. And I'm not really like that a lot. It's only when I really need it.
Or if your friend needs it, you know, they're going through something and they really have to have that conversation. So I also, it's the other thing is not having those conversations in those spaces. Right. Totally.
So it's creating a space where you can have those in different places.
Well, when I'm saying out the back is sort of like Kremlin doors, that's, you're having one of those conversations beyond the fire exit where you're like, here, love, what happened? Love, let's sit in the curb here. We'll roll ourselves a fag and you can tell me all about it. You know, and then you can actually feel it. Walking back in, you can feel the switch again.
Yes.
You know?
It is. And but again, like I just let those, if I'm open to it, I'll let those conversations come to me, and they normally do. Sometimes they do happen really randomly, which is okay, because it's literally, we were shitting one time and this person just sat down and said, so my friends are, and they didn't even say hello. Just sat to me like direct in front of me, and I was like, and I took it was the other queens were like, what's going on here? And I was like, so tell me more. And that was that.
But then you also run the risk of like people trauma dumping on you.
Well, that's it,
which
too.
is
I'm
also
not
a
a
thing
fan
which
of
we
that,
have to. But here, let's get item number 2.
Oh, item
let's
number
have a wee
2.
look.
What about?
Because we might need to make this a 2-parter.
Yeah, we've been talking.
It's great though.
Oh my
I'm
God,
delighted.
who is he?
Oh my
is
God.
that a mini Trudy?
Yes. Right? I know, it's not the cutest. My mum made this for me.
What a sweetie.
Isn't that hilarious?
Let me
see. Isn't it so
gorgeous.
cute?
And the wee sewn face and everything.
She'd be amazing.
So does your mummy sews? Your mummy does that, or
It's more like my mum was always kind of obsessed about being a mum, so she was always very hands-on with us and all of that. But she's very creative, and I think she never really got into a thing. She does it for fun and for kindness, but it's really good.
I suppose now they would call it like mindfulness as well.
Yeah.
It's just the time, and maybe you didn't have the words for it when she first started doing it, but it's just a wee bit of time for yourself. I'm doing this thing now.
Yeah, very
So I'm just doing my wee thing.
Yeah,
you
very
know.
much that. You got the nail on the head with that.
That is the
She came down and she was like,
prettiest
surprised me with it. When I actually, she got my daddy to record it. And there's a performance I do of Adele when we were young. And in the big spell of the song, it's her giving me that and me hugging her in the moment. It's really cute.
Oh, darling, she's a sweetie. What's your mummy's name?
Linda.
We are so funny.
Linda.
Linda.
Hello,
Linda.
Linda.
Which is kicking off. I call her Linda Honey Listen. Linda.
Oh my God, she is gorgeous.
Adorable. Oh, I love it. That is precious.
Cute.
Wonderful.
That's my wee gold sequins fringed.
I love her. I love her.
That is so special.
I love that you're in the house and we're doing our show and tell some love, and you're like, 2 things.
Yeah.
You know?
There probably could have been a million things.
Yeah.
That I could
Seeing
have
from
brought
ours.
down. Yeah.
I mean, that is really special.
Yeah.
That Danny La Rue
Wonderful.
picture and the story. Tell me this, do you, you don't have to, but what were those guys' names?
Oh God! Now you put me in the spot. I can't remember.
You can't remember? That's grand.
What's their names? I know.
That's the way your mind works. But
We
you know,
love
it's
people.
good to sort of say it out loud. But no, it's really gorgeous. Really gorgeous.
Well, listen, I think we're going to have to
Wrap it up. I love
wrap up, and we could talk to you all
know.
day long, and actually we fully intend to. That's the nice thing as well, is that hopefully we will be able to see loads more of you.
Yes,
and we'll
of
be able
course.
to even
would
chat
love
I
after
love
this and
the
plots and
podcast
plots.
and thank you for having me on. And
You're
I've been
sweetie.
watching some of the conversations on Instagram. Again, not a great reader, not a great podcast listener, but the bits that I say, the important conversations are being had. So thank you.
You're a sweetie.
Many, many more, and I'm looking forward to getting to see more of you in
Yes.
this place as well. We've got some
absolutely, yeah.
plots to thicken. Indeed. Well, listen, thank you very much, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed that. We certainly did.
Loved it.
And make sure to like and subscribe and tell your friends and do all of the things and come to some of our gorgeous events.
Yeah.
If you've got any questions or anything that you want to know, always you can reach out to us on social media. It's just Connor and I at the other end of it.
Just don't
Keep
speak to
sending
Trudy.
those comments in.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Just don't speak to Trudy if she's out of drag. She's a cheeky bastard. Yeah. Trudy's lovely. Gordon's a cunt.
And remember, if you've got anything on your mind, any dilemmas, and you want to send us a message into Queers Around the Corner for us to answer your letters, then please do that as well. You can email info@anotherworldbelfast.com and we will read it out online and give you some answers.
Gorgeous. Goodbye.
Bye. Show some love.